think, is it me? Yes, thumbs up. Hello, everybody. I'm Ricardo Nunez. I'm the board president of your U.S. Federation of Worker Cooperatives, and just wanted to welcome y'all to this time together. What was it? Just to ground us. A lot has happened this year, 2020. Wow. So we're still going to have our October annual member meeting, and that's where we're going to do a deeper dive into all the different components of member updates and diving deeper into finances and things like that. And today we're going to touch on them just to give our members, you all, an update on those things. But just wanted to recognize that later this October, we're going to be doing that deeper dive. And today we wanted to really just create space for our members to come together to check in with each other, because so much of our community is about building relationships, about bringing our whole selves to our workplaces. And so we wanted to create a space to see how everybody is moving along in this journey. And for me, I think one of the things that's inspiring to be here with y'all is that as other people, as there's all of these demands in the streets, as there's demands all across this country and across the world to reimagine a future that is different, that is fundamentally transformative, that everyone is talking about it, and y'all on this call are the ones stepping into it. And you've been stepping into it. And so I just wanted to recognize that you all are on this journey already, and people are going to be looking to folks on this call, looking to you for y'all to share that experience with them. And so we wanted to have a space so that we could share those experiences with each other. And so just to set the agenda, we'll have some small group introductions. We'll do where we get to introduce ourselves. We're going to have a leadership overview. We'll have about the board leadership and the staff of the Federation, who I can't thank enough for holding this space and doing all the work behind the scenes that they're doing. We'll have some member stories from our Federation members and partners. We'll have some staff updates, and then we'll do breakout groups. So we'll be ending after about 2 hours, but after the 2 hours of official time is spent, we invite you to stick around if you have the energy and spaciousness to do that, and just to like hang out and chill when we have a DJ for post-meeting hangout. I'm interested in seeing how that all turns out, but yeah. So that's just the flow of today. And the next thing that we're going to do is small group introductions. So I'll end it there and pass it along to who is doing Mo, I think, if Mo's able to talk.
Mo is able to talk. I hope.
Yay!
Okay. So hi everyone, you might not be able to see my video face, but hopefully you can see my screen, which is the more important thing right now. So what we want to do is to create a space for folks to just get to meet people that you don't yet know, and just a little bit of space for connection.
No, you're a little bit choppy there.
Sorry about that. Ana Martina, do you want to explain the process then?
Yep, I can do that. So we want to just have a moment just to introduce each other. So we're going to be having some breakout rooms for folks to introduce each other. And Mo is going to be sending folks to small breakout rooms. And for this, we're going to ask folks if they can, it sounds like everybody has already, or the majority of you have identified a language where you have a preference for English or Spanish. So if you haven't done that yet, please take this moment to rename yourself in the participant list or to add it into the chat. And so we're gonna send you to these breakout rooms, and we want you to give you a few minutes to share your name, your organization, your preferred pronouns and location where you are at, and then just to share briefly how's your organization responding in this political moment. So Mo is going to be doing the breakout rooms. And so hopefully we can send everybody to the right channel where you can have your conversations in your preferred language.
If you have any issues, you can always come back to the main room. So I will send you now.
Mo, just so you know, oh, sorry, sir.
We are keeping some of the Spanish-speaking folks in this channel, I believe.
Cool, great. I will hold off and I'll send a message on the other.
Ahora. Hi, everyone. My name is Esteban. I've probably met most of you, but certainly not all of you. So I want to introduce myself. I'm the executive director for the Worker Co-op Federation. And in a moment, I want to introduce our board. There's two things that need to happen. First is about to happen, which is I want their faces up here. Beautiful. I was gonna do a complicated thing of having them turn on their videos and you turn off yours. But for the sake of time and expediency, you can roulette yourself through. You can click through the various faces on the meeting and see if you can match some of their names to the slide in front of you. We do have, just as a reminder that I think is helpful for you all, everyone on our board is elected by y'all, by the membership, and half of our board turns over each year. And so in even numbered years like this year, our regional reps, which is 4 of our directors representing North, South, East, and West, are either up for re-election or just open for nominations and election. And then we have a pretty traditional at-large election for the other 5 directors. So this is who our beautiful, amazing, inspiring board members are. They're all here. And what else was I going to say about them? Oh, we're going to talk about the elections later on. I also want to introduce you to our staff, if you can cue up the next slide for me, which is an exciting update just because we've grown a little bit. But I want to kick off this little intro of our staff team by actually lifting up a shift from somebody who's been with us for many years and is still going to be with us in a new role. And that is Mo Manklang, who as of, I don't know, yesterday, became our policy director for the Federation. Previously, Mo was holding down communications as our communications director. And we are going to continue to have capacity around communication by expanding our team a little bit. But this is going to free Mo up to focus on so much of the advocacy work that's really popping off, not just federally, but because of the openings around financial policies in the recession and ways that cities and states are responding, and because of a lot of the grassroots work that you all are involved in, and the growing work with political coalitions and endorsements around different kinds of legislation. So this is full scope of our team. And I do also want to shout out Annette, who's been helping us out with bookkeeping since the beginning of this year, and was able to be part of our little breakout group just now. I got to hear more about how Annette's doing. So that was lovely. That's our team. Most of this meeting, as Ricardo said up top, is really about connecting you all and hearing from you, and lifting up what we're hearing from being in touch with you all in our membership. As soon as the quarantine kicked in, we actually spent a couple months calling through to our members a few times over. And in that process, we heard a lot from you all about your situations, and that informed our advocacy about what your needs were. And we figured that like Ricardo was saying, it'd be really helpful to have an additional member meeting to sort of spotlight that a little bit. And B, within that member meeting, we wanted to lift up just a couple of those stories for you all to hear. So I'm gonna kick it over to Prospera first to hear a little bit from them.
Yeah, gracias Esteban. ¿Me pueden escuchar?
Sí.
Sí, súper. Bueno, queremos tomar un poco de tiempo para poder escuchar, como ya estaba diciendo Esteban, la mayoría de la primavera pasamos como staff y mesa directiva conectándonos directamente con la membresía y bueno, a través de esas llamadas empezamos a escuchar muchas de las historias, no solamente del apoyo técnico que estábamos haciendo para aplicar a los préstamos, pero también escuchamos las historias de cómo las cooperativas y el ecosistema en general ha estado apoyando para no solamente la misma cooperativa, sino también para la comunidad. Entonces, quisimos compartir un par de historias que escuchamos en esta llamada. Así que quiero pasar el micrófono para Mayerlin Castillo, que es miembro fundadora de la cooperativa emprendedora Colmenar Cooperative Consulting, para que nos cuente un poco de la experiencia que ellas han tenido con su colaboración con Prospera. Mayerlin, ¿puedes sacar el micrófono?
Sí, ¿me pueden escuchar? Sí,
sí, perfecto.
Excelente. Bueno, hola a todos, muchas gracias. Estoy muy emocionada de participar hoy día en esta conferencia y bueno, y siguiendo lo que decía Ana, somos Colmenar, somos una consultoría de negocios cooperativos formada por un grupo de mujeres latinas que proveemos consultoría en español para mujeres y disidentes indígenas y latinas acá en Estados Unidos. Y actualmente estamos en el proceso de lanzamiento. Inicialmente teníamos planeado lanzar en mayo, pero con COVID todo ha tenido que aplazar. Y afortunadamente hemos contado con el apoyo de diferentes miembros de nuestra comunidad y particularmente con Prospera. Nuestra asociación con Prospera viene de algunos años. Dos de nuestras fundadoras de la cooperativa han completado un programa en fellowship de desarrollo de negocios cooperativos y actualmente participamos en un programa de acompañamiento que se llama Crece. Y es un programa que apoya a mujeres y disidentes latinas en el área de la Bahía con su negocio cooperativo y también con proyectos de realiza una encuesta para entender cuáles son las necesidades de las mujeres en términos las mujeres que participaban en este grupo podían recibir entre 200 a 500 dólares por individuos, no por negocio, pero por cada individuo del negocio, y ahí benefició a 56 personas. Lo bonito era que si alguien no tenía la necesidad inmediata de ocupar estos recursos, tenía la posibilidad de cederlo a otra persona que sí lo necesitara. También dentro de este fondo se hizo una distribución de recursos tecnológicos para apoyar a los negocios, que incluía computadores, celulares y membresías para diferentes plataformas como QuickBooks y Canvas, Zoom, StoryNote. Nosotros particularmente en Colmenar fuimos beneficiadas con esas membresías. Tenemos QuickBooks por 6 meses y también tenemos Canvas y Zoom por 1 año. Bueno, también dentro de este fondo, ¿no? Nació la idea de hacer una continuación para seguir apoyando a las mujeres a un plazo más largo. Entonces se crea una plenaria para poder continuar el fondo de manera permanente, lo que no tan solo crea la oportunidad del apoyo financiero, pero también creó oportunidades de liderazgo para las mujeres que están democráticamente administrando estos fondos. Y se han propuesto tutoriales para entender cómo funcionan las plataformas que se han otorgado y también ideas de actividades para la recaudación de fondos. Pero más que nada ha sido con la intención de crear un espacio de solidaridad y apoyo para todas las mujeres que estamos en esta comunidad de negocios cooperativos. Y ahora ya pasamos a la segunda ronda, donde otra vez las mujeres de este grupo pudieron recibir ayuda. Y pensamos que no tan solo ha sido la ayuda financiera, pero también saber de que hay una entidad que está ahí presente y apoyando a las mujeres en este paso, especialmente en esta crisis, ¿no? Que ha dificultado las cosas. Pero no se pierde la esperanza, no se pierde el espíritu de solidaridad. Como decía una compañera en el breakout room, estas crisis a veces nos ayudan para hacernos más fuertes, para hacernos más resilientes, y también ojalá que salgamos todos de esto un poquito mejor. Así que,
gracias Mayelin por compartir. Y bueno, como estaba mencionando Mayelin, el programa de Prospera continúa y ha sido una gran iniciativa que ha apoyado varias de estas cooperativas emprendedoras. Esto ahí en la bahía. La llamada me botó de la cámara, pero está acá en el teléfono. Entonces quiero pasar el micrófono para Paloma, que es parte de CoopCNC. Si nos quieres compartir cuál ha sido la situación allá con ustedes en Cincinnati, cuál ha sido alguna de las estrategias que desde CoopCNC se han tomado para apoyar a las cooperativas en este momento.
Quiero interrumpir brevemente nada más para recordar a las que están presentando que tienen que hablar despacio para que las intérpretes puedan captar.
Ya. Hola. Mi nombre es Paloma, trabajo para CoopCNC. Somos una incubadora, una organización sin fines de lucro. Somos una incubadora que nos dedicamos a apoyar, fomentar y cooperativas de trabajadores sindicales. Estamos basados en el modelo Mondragón en España. En este momento tenemos una red de cooperativas de alrededor de 8 cooperativas de trabajo en distintas áreas. Los hemos apoyado a través de ayudarlos a completar todo tipo de formularios como el PPP. Y hemos hecho seguimiento a cada una de nuestras cooperativas. Todas las semanas tenemos reuniones de equipo para ver cómo podemos apoyarlo. Cuando partió la pandemia, muchas de las cooperativas se dieron un tiempo para reorganizarse, pero ahora están todas funcionando como si con ciertos cambios, pero están todas funcionando muy bien. De hecho, una de nuestras cooperativas, Our Harvest, creo que ha sido el mejor año. Ellos son una CSA y fueron nuestra primera cooperativa allá en el año 2009. Pero sí, o sea, hemos estado nosotros apoyándolo con reuniones de equipo toda la semana, pero gracias, por suerte hemos estado bien, tranquilos, dentro de las circunstancias. Eso.
Gracias, Paloma. Bueno, estas son, o sea, hemos escuchado tantas historias que no cabe el tiempo en este momento para compartir todas las historias de las cooperativas que hemos escuchado en cómo se han activado estrategias para acompañar a la comunidad. Quiero pasar el micrófono para Mo para que comparta un poco algunas de esas historias y el trabajo que ella está haciendo también recopilando esas historias. Y dando toda la información para poder aplicar a los fondos, ¿no? Y de la parte de abogacía también. Mo, ¿estás por ahí? ¿Me pueden escuchar o no sé si Mo, su sonido, no sé qué habrá pasado?
No, we hear you. Yeah, I think we're good. Mo, do you want to kick off the next part, or should I? Why don't I get us started? I see you're driving the slides though, because I don't think we can hear you. What we're gonna do now is get into just a couple brief updates from our staff. You'll hear from a couple of us because we're covering a few different areas, and I'll actually just get us started with the finances because we're not in the detailed annual meeting where we send out all of our finances. I think we did share the profit and loss statement in the meeting packet that accompanies today's meeting. But I just at a high level wanted to say a couple of things.
With the crap stuff under our bed.
One, that our finances and our treasurer, Anna Boyer from C4 Tech and Design, can verify this and also answer additional questions if anyone has questions about our finances. Our finances are doing okay. I think we had initially planned for a slightly expanded budget this year. And it may end up being around the same size as our budget was last year. That is to say, there'll be some shrinkage, especially around travel and events. We do imagine that some of our member dues that we had budgeted to increase might just equal out to what they were last year. By and large, we're fine. Like, the Federation is not going to implode. So that's good news. In terms of last year, which is what you're looking at on this pie chart, it kind of illustrates a little bit that, at least for 2019, our income was anchored by 4 different program areas. The first of course, is membership dues, which accounted for just under 20% of our overall budget. The new work that we've been doing around the health benefits program and some of the benefits admin, which is less than 3% of our income, is actually contributing to that new position that we kicked off this year. So I again want to welcome Maddie to the team, who's been doing just a kick-ass job, and we'll get to hear more about that program specifically in a moment. We of course ran the Eastern Conference for Workplace Democracy in 2019, and so the registration income is that's what that 60,000 that's listed there. That's of course, you know, counterbalanced by the staff time and expenses and some of the event fees that went into putting it on. But it was good to have that as just a really balanced income stream. We still have a very strong partnership with the Democracy at Work Institute. I think that there's a couple few people. I saw Olga, and I think I also saw Julian from Dowie in the member call. Dowie is, of course, not only our nonprofit sister organization, but also a member of the Federation. And that $75,000 mostly represents some subcontracting that as a nonprofit, some of the grants that they might receive either from governments or for foundations they then work with the Federation to help them meet deliverables, mostly around training and organizing. So we help with that, and a little bit on research. And then the last one I wanted to shout out, partially because it was about a third of our budget last year of our income, was from the consulting work that we started a few years ago that has grown and pretty steadily over the years. I think we'll report on that in more depth at the member meeting in October. But yeah, I wanted to put all of that up there. This is by far the largest income budget that the Federation's had since our founding 16 years ago. And last year it came in at just over $500,000. So I'll see if there's questions for myself or for Anna Boyer, our treasurer, who's on the call. And otherwise we'll move to the next slide.
And folks should not be able to unmute themselves, so please put those questions in the chat, folks.
Yes. Yeah. You can also DM me if you have a nerdier question, but I promise we'll unpack our financial statements more in October. Okay, Mo, how is your sound? Are you back?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yay, we figured it out.
However, I just saw a question in the chat. What areas are you hoping to grow revenues from in 2020? And I will repeat if questions are in the chat so that our interpreters can gather those questions. So 2020, I mean, we're halfway through the year. We had initially planned the budget that the board approved back in January. We had planned to grow our dues income. Ambitiously, we were hoping for something closer to $100,000 in dues income. At this point, I think if we're lucky, we'll hopefully be able to keep up with what 2019's dues were. I will say that our membership has grown, even though some of the individual businesses have, a lot of you have had different challenges. So we've still been able to recruit a bunch of members. Again, we'll get into the details of that in October. But so far, I think it's over 30 new organizations have joined the Federation in 2020, which has helped a little bit. So that's I would say probably the main area. The other one is compared to 2019, we didn't get much income from foundation grants directly, and already by the end of 2019, we had secured grant funding for programming in 2020. And so this year, that's a much bigger part of our budget. Something like 25 to 30% of our budget is from grants in 2020. And then lastly, I think consulting, we might maintain the same percentage, but because our budget is going to need to compensate for some of the dues shortfalls or other shortfalls in different revenue streams, we might need to land a couple more contracts for doing trainings. Often those are for cooperatives, democratic workplaces, or nonprofits. We have done some trainings for a few different government agencies as well at a local level. Okay, I'm not seeing other questions. Anna Boyer, did you want to add anything as our treasurer? It seemed like more of an ED finance question, but okay, let's go to Mo.
All right. So, hopefully you all had to connect a little bit in the introductions about how your organizations are faring during COVID-19. We know that there have been a lot of failures on the part of the federal government, particularly in making sure that our businesses are taken care of during this time. So we have been doing a lot of work to make sure that the whole membership is as resourced as possible. So I've spoken to many of you about particularly around small business association resources and around, what are the financial options, what are the mutual aid options, what resources are available to help make sure that our businesses stay open and stay healthy during this time. So, we have gone into this with many different solutions. So we've been hosting webinars. I think we hosted 3 or 4 webinars just for mutual aid, just to make sure that people are able to connect and talk to each other. We've also hosted several webinars, both with ourselves in coordination with Democracy at Work Institute and also with Wagner CPAs and some of our SBA partners to make sure that all of your questions are answered. So I want to thank everybody that attended those, because it's helpful for us to know how you all are doing. And also it felt really good for our team. It was very, I think, galvanizing for our team to feel like we could really help in these kinds of ways, to make sure particularly that that you're all set through the SBA avenues, which we've been working on diligently since we've been shoring up our relationships with the Small Business Administration. So this is work that we've increasingly found to be more and more important as time goes on. And one of the ways that we're preparing for the long haul is collecting information that is anonymized for the most part, but also helps us to understand how worker co-ops have fared during this time. So we're actually working on a report that is just about done. You should probably see that coming at you probably early next week, about what worker co-ops are doing in this time, some success stories for all of you, some of the challenges that people are facing, and also some recommendations, particularly at the local level. So we've also been gathering ways to support all of you. So if you haven't gone to our website at usworker.coop/COVID-19, you can find all of our information. That includes frequently asked questions in English and Spanish. We're working to make sure that our full membership is as covered as possible. I'm happy to answer any questions on this, but I think I'll stop there for now. Oh, yes, Democracy at Work Institute is down.
Gracias, Mo. De pronto igual creo que vamos a, más adelante vamos a regresar a un espacio para poder compartir más preguntas y estratégicamente cómo continuar, pero sé que estamos un poquito con el tiempo un poco encima. De pronto si las personas quieren poner preguntas en el chat, por favor, siéntanse libre de ponerlo allá. Y tal vez pasamos para la siguiente, para continuar con el programa, ¿no? A menos que quieras pararte acá un poco más.
I'm sorry if that was a question from Ana Martina. I can't hear the interpretation channel, so I want to make sure that I'm not.
Okay, I'm going to continue with the next slide, and then I was just asking people to add questions into the chat. Good time to practice your Spanish. Yay. Okay, voy a cambiar para el español. Como ya estaba diciendo Esteban, bueno, teníamos en 2020 planes para continuar creciendo como movimiento cooperativista, y cuando la crisis en la primavera comienza, obviamente hay varias cosas que tienen que cambiar, que tenemos que ajustar, y hemos estado trabajando para apoyar a la membresía que ya venía unida a la federación. Y hemos visto también muchas cooperativas también que han estado surgiendo, que se han estado uniendo a la federación. Lo que estás viendo son los logos de varias de estas más de 30 cooperativas y organizaciones en el ecosistema que se han unido a la membresía. Queremos darles la bienvenida oficialmente y pues obviamente vamos a tratar de seguir continuando en los canales de participación en Slack para poder conocerles un poquito más sobre estos nuevos miembros. La siguiente, next slide, please. Bueno, estos son un poco más de los logos, varias cooperativas de trabajadoras y trabajadores, varios negocios emprendedores, varias desarrolladoras y bueno, Vamos a seguir, como ya les estábamos comentando, tratar de seguir articulando las estrategias para poder continuar trabajando juntas y juntes en estrategias de cómo apoyarles a través de capacitación y creando también foros de participación. Quisiera pasar a la siguiente slide, que es un poco sobre el trabajo que estamos haciendo sobre abogacía, que bueno, ya estaba mencionando Esteban, es un trabajo que ha venido creciendo, que Mo ha estado llevando muy diligentemente y pues ha sido un trabajo que ha crecido mucho en este momento, sobre todo cuando estamos haciendo la abogacía. Mo, I'm just introducing a little bit of the PISA policy, if you want to just touch on that.
Excellent. Thank you, Ana Martina. We've already talked a little bit about the policy and advocacy work that we've been doing. The Policy and Advocacy Council has been incredibly busy, as have I, as someone who works on policy on staff. You know, ever since we passed the Free Employee Ownership Act in 2018, that was the first work in quite a long time, and that directed the Small Business Administration to promote worker cooperatives through their channels. We've really seen an uptick. You know, there was already a really strong presence in a lot of our kind of hub areas where we see a lot of worker cooperatives. There are similarly also legislation and funding from governments going towards worker cooperatives. And we've seen that increase quite a bit over the last 2 years or so. So what you're looking at right now is kind of our map that has, you know, the hotspots of worker co-ops across the country. And I've starred some of the places where we've seen legislation either pass or there's current campaigning going on with a lot of our members. I'm really happy to see a lot of those folks on the phone today. And right now we're particularly working on a piece of legislation with Representative Ro Khanna. And that is a bill that promotes worker co-ops, and not just in name, but actually putting money to that work. So it's funding for education and outreach and grant funding, similar to the Rural Cooperative Business Development Grant that I know a lot of you take part in and or benefit from. And so and also incentivizing worker co-ops. And what we're actually thinking right now is that we need to be thinking past COVID, right? We need to be thinking like, how do we ensure that that small businesses survive? And one of those ways we believe is to help convert businesses to worker cooperatives, to save businesses, make sure they stay in the communities, make sure the doors stay open. So right now we're working on a bill with Representative Ro Khanna to help make that happen. So this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg of what is going on. We, like I said, have a really active Policy and Advocacy Council. We meet twice a month, and we're going to be expanding that work now that my focus is a little bit more towards policy. And I just want to celebrate the fact that we have so many engaged folks across our networks that are, you know, making phone calls, writing letters, and making sure that worker co-ops stay on the minds of our legislators. If you are interested in that work, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm very excited to be digging into it more. And yeah, again, I'm happy to answer questions.
There's a question in the chat, if you wouldn't mind reading it out loud.
Sure, let me find it.
From Adria.
With respect to the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, and the policy advocacy work the Federation has been undertaking, is there a sense that in a next stimulus package, the negative tax implications for profit companies might be correct legislatively? Is the Federation working on this issue?
That's a great question, Andrea. So there are, I know that, you know, just recently with the PPP program, they just relaxed some of the regulations around that. So we are actually looking to some of our experts, including Wagner CPAs, to help understand those tax implications. I mean, I think the short answer is we're not we're still trying to assess what the implications are. Unfortunately, as I think all of you know, the scope of these programs was way bigger than anyone anticipated, and so there's a lot of questions still out there. And we do know that that there have been a lot of problems with either getting the loans from the SBA or understanding how they're implemented, right? So the one thing that what we are doing is making sure to reach out to our members, understand what issues people are running into, and connecting directly with our SBA folks. For instance, Red Emma's, I think Kate is on the call today. I was really, really excited to hear today that there has been some there was some difficulty with Red Emma's, which is a worker co-op in Baltimore, being able to get funding through the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and we made sure that they were hooked up with our Small Business Administration contact, and they were able to work it out, and Red Emma's was able to receive their funding. So we do have channels to be able to lift up issues. So what I do want to say is definitely, if you're running into any issues at all with loans, definitely make sure to reach out to us. Not only so that we can know about it, so that we can advocate for you, and so that we can track what are the issues that people are running into and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Gracias, Mo. Vamos a continuar también con las llamadas semanales para seguir dando las actualizaciones en el trabajo de abogacía, pero también vamos a continuar actualizando y seguramente con webinars para actualizar a las personas de cómo continuar con su proceso, aquellas personas que hayan tenido, que hayan aplicado. Bueno, quería compartir también que es muy importante este trabajo que hacemos de abogacía y el saber justamente cuántas son las cooperativas en el país y cuáles han sido los retos, cuáles han sido las dificultades específicas por industria. Y por eso mismo el año que viene va a ser un año de censo, cuando estamos haciendo el recuento de cuántas cooperativas existen en el país. Es un trabajo muy importante que hacemos en colaboración con DAWI. Olga Prushinskaya, que es parte de DAWI, es la directora de investigación, está también en la llamada, y pues ya estaremos contactándoles el año que viene juntas para invitarles a que participen al censo. Es muy importante porque cuando hacemos el trabajo de abogacía queremos llegar con números para poder llegar con hechos, ¿no? También parte del trabajo que hemos estado haciendo a partir de recolectar la información, hemos estado haciendo informes. Ya Mo estaba mencionando que vamos a hacer un informe de lo que hemos venido recolectando, de cuál ha sido el impacto a las cooperativas. También hemos estado generando otras estrategias para apoyar a las cooperativas. Por ejemplo, hicimos también una serie de webinars para ayudar a las cooperativas en español para hacer la planificación de las finanzas, de sus operaciones, de sus comunicaciones debido a la pandemia. Y vamos a continuar un poco amplificando estas estrategias y estas historias importantes a través de series de webinars que estamos por anunciar también, para compartir más allá cuál ha sido la ayuda mutua y cuáles han sido las estrategias también y las necesidades también en este momento para poder saber desde el ecosistema cómo podemos apoyar. La siguiente, por favor. Next slide, Mom, please. También compartirles un poco que hemos estado haciendo muchísimo trabajo en el aspecto internacional. Hemos estado por los últimos 3 años haciendo muchas conexiones a nivel internacional. Por ejemplo, hemos estado en contacto con CICOPA, que es el organismo a nivel internacional que ha estado empezando a generar más comunicaciones. En abril, a principios de abril, cuando el cierre de ciudades se dio aquí en Estados Unidos, facilitamos un foro internacional que fue de hecho el primer foro que generamos, al cual invitamos a personas de Italia, de España, de Argentina, de Chile, de Turquía a contarnos, a compartir cuál era la experiencia que estaban llevando y un poco articular estrategias. Vamos a continuar haciendo este trabajo a nivel internacional. También han sido otras formas de colaboración, también con la Federación de Japón. También apoyamos de forma solidaria también, ya que ellos compartieron su propuesta de legislación para cooperativas de trabajadores y trabajadoras. Y bueno, más trabajo a nivel internacional se va a seguir haciendo. También compartimos con la Federación en UK y vamos a continuar haciendo este tipo de trabajo. La siguiente, estoy yendo un poquito rápido porque estamos un poco atrasados ahorita. La siguiente, por favor. Next slide, more, please. Y bueno, una parte que les queremos compartir también, que es importante, es este año es un año de elecciones. Hoy día estamos haciendo la reunión de membresía un poco para contar un poco de los programas, pero también queremos compartir un poco algunas cuestiones importantes, y en octubre vamos a tener la reunión que va a ser más enfocada a compartir los negocios, las finanzas más a fondo, pero queremos compartirles que este año es un año de elecciones regionales, lo que quiere decir que este año estamos eligiendo a los representantes de la zona norte, sur, este y oeste, y vamos a estar abriendo las nominaciones el 1 de agosto al 31 de agosto, muy pronto. Vamos a estar facilitando un webinar para darles un poco de información de cómo se puede potenciar el liderazgo desde la membresía para representar y también dar dirección al trabajo que estamos haciendo en la federación, que es tan importante en este momento. Y las votaciones se van a abrir del 14 de septiembre al 16 de octubre, que van a ser un poco después de la conferencia virtual y después de la segunda reunión de membresía que vamos a tener. Entonces, manténganse al tanto, vamos a tener una sala de discusión un poquito más adelante hoy para que conozcan un poquito más qué implica ese liderazgo desde la mesa directiva. Next slide, please.
Okay, this is Maddie, who maybe you've met in person, but certainly you've seen emails from them. And got you unmuted?
Yeah.
All right, take it away.
Hey everyone, my name is Maddie Taterka. I am the Member Benefits Coordinator. And yeah, I have been working hard at streamlining our existing health benefits program that we have, as well as expanding the possible options for 2021. So we have open enrollment coming up for the existing dental and vision programs. That's coming up. It's starting on October 1st through December 9th, and you'll be getting a lot more information about that in the coming weeks and months. And then we have some really exciting new health benefits coming out, including we're setting up an arrangement to create health reimbursement arrangements, health savings accounts, and flexible spending accounts. And we have a webinar coming up on that next Wednesday on July 29th at 5 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to keep this really quick right now, because we're having one of our breakout groups in the upcoming session is going to be going in more in depth into what the general worker benefits program are. But if we can go to the next slide. This is just a list of the benefits that we're going to be offering for 2021. So we'll continue to have dental insurance and vision insurance like we've been doing, including health insurance in select states where we're able to have advantageous rates. We're introducing accident and disability insurance, which we were going to roll out this spring but postponed because of the COVID crisis. And then these health reimbursement and health savings arrangements that are ways of setting aside tax advantage money to use for healthcare costs. We're also going to be rolling out some pre-vetted 401k and retirement savings options to make it easy for your worker co-ops and organizations to get started with those. So if you're interested in learning more today, you can join me in the breakout group that's coming up in a few minutes. And I hope that if you're interested in these tax-advantaged ways of paying for healthcare costs, you will join us at our webinar next Wednesday, the 29th at 5 p.m. Eastern. And that's free to sign up for, and you can find details. Maybe we can put a link in the chat.
Thank you, Maddie. Just very excited about these benefits we've been able to articulate in response to the needs of our membership. So we wanted to have some space for actually allowing people to have discussions. We planned this last section for folks to be in breakout rooms and to have discussions. And so, oh, sorry, we have to talk about the conference. I'm sorry.
We don't really have to.
I mean,
the slide has all the info that you need about. It's virtual. We've shifted it from the weekend to being on a Thursday, Friday, September 10th and 11th. There will be a little bit of this, like some breakout rooms and being together, but also some featured speakers from the Movement for Black Lives, the Working Families Party. We're working with Avi Lewis, who is confirmed. He was one of the folks who made the documentary The Take about the worker co-op movement in Argentina, and also a co-author. Wow, I just realized how quickly I was speaking. I apologize. A co-author of the LEAP manifesto. I don't remember what the acronyms stand for. I apologize, but that was like the Green New Deal as dreamed up in Canada about 4 or 5 years ago. You might also know Avi because he's a board member with the Working World, and he is the partner of Naomi Klein, who we are still trying to confirm if she's able to be in that conversation as well. So she is excited about it and just making sure it works with her teaching schedules. So we might have both Avi Lewis and Naomi Klein with us. We have some different themes for each day. One of them is going to focus a little more on labor and the rebuilding the economy and the green transition and the Green New Deal. The other day is going to focus a little more on racial justice and anti-Black racism and some of the policy work related to working people. And there will be sessions. It'll be great. We're going to have a less low-key version of DJing and jamming out. We're also going to put a call out to some of you and your businesses to just create space if you want to like lead a yoga class stretch the morning of, or any kind of enrichment in enhanced programming. And we want to really just get the Democracy at Work Institute and the Federation out of the way of shaping every piece of it and really just like creating containers for you all to shine with some of that programming. You can also email us with questions about the upcoming conference. Okay, now we're going to small groups, right, Mo? Right?
Thank you, Esteban. Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, we're definitely very excited for people to join the virtual conference. We know, the conference is the moment where we make connections, where we get to talk to each other, and we're doing this amazing work of being able to connect like today in virtual spaces. I just also wanted to acknowledge like all the work that goes behind the scenes to interpretation and the logistics for digital security to make this space being a safe space. So thank you for the staff that is handling this logistics right now. Okay, cool. So breakout rooms. I wanted to just, we're going to be having 4 rooms, discussion rooms. And I'm just going to pass for the folks that are going to be doing each one of this. I just want to explain really quickly the logistics about how the breakout rooms are going to be working. Each breakout room in your screen, you will be able to see there are 4 icons, 1 icon for each session. So Mo is going to be helping us to send people to those sessions where you want to be. And so you're going to see all these little icons. You just need to put that in your profile in the participants window. So please be putting that now so that Mo can see that. And we're going to have understanding board leadership, endorsement for political campaigns and candidates, worker benefits, member support and sustainability. And I'm just going to let folks that are going to be leading each one of those sessions just to introduce what's going to be happening there. So understanding board leadership, I think that is Maru.
Yes, so if you want to come and learn about the amazing work that the board does, the requirements, sort of like what the benefits are, come to this session and we'll explore it together.
The next one, which is going to be the endorsement for political campaigns and candidates, I think is Ricardo.
Yeah, we are talking about what the ways that we want membership to be actively able to participate in nominating different policies or candidates that the Federation would officially endorse. So we wanted to get keep that conversation moving with the membership. Check.
Awesome. Worker benefits, that's going to be Maddie, and they just like explain a little bit, but maybe Maddie, you want to say just something briefly?
Yeah, I'm gonna run through a mini presentation of all of our benefits, go into a little more depth, and then open it for questions, concerns, thoughts.
Awesome. And the last one is going to be Pablo with member support and sustainability. I don't know if Pablo can unmute himself. I don't see him. But basically, oh, okay, go.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I mean, we just wanted to touch base with the membership, you know, to talk about the needs of the membership in this moment. And then also, you know, just to talk about sustainability, you know, that can mean many things, you know, from the financial aspect to like preventing burnout and many other conversations here. So if you're interested to go there. And maybe I didn't like introduce the instructions very clearly. In the participant window, if you click in your own name, you're gonna see an icon that says more. And then if you click there, I think, oh, sorry, it's below. Is a bar below the participants window. There is raise hand, there is a check mark that says yes, there is a no, go slower, go faster. So each one of those icons was assigned to each topic. So if you want to go to understanding board leadership, you're going to choose the little cup icon, and that will be indicating for us that that's the room where you want to go, and Mo is going to be assigning you to go to that breakout room. If you want to go to the endorsement for political campaigns, choose the thumbs up. And then if you want to go to workers' benefit, choose the check mark. And if you want to go to member support and sustainability, like click on the go faster, move forward. If that's clear, I hope that that's clear. And if you can access the participant window, maybe put it on the chat. I see. Yeah, if you're having trouble, you can also write it in the chat. And we're gonna have, I think we're gonna have between 15 to 20 minutes probably. We can see because we're running a little bit behind. And Kate, I guess we want to give, I'm going to say this in Spanish. Vamos a dar la opción también si las personas que hablan español, si tienen preferencia de quedarse en una sala y no irse, no separarse, pueden quedarse en la sala principal. O sea, cuando se abran las salas, quédense nomás en la sala principal y podemos tener la llamada acá también. ¿Cierto, Kate?
En el espacio principal a reunirnos en el grupo 4, apoyo a la membresía y sostenibilidad.
All right, folks, I am going to start putting people into rooms, and then if you haven't already, then you can please indicate either in the chat panel or
I'll start opening so you start to get settled. But if you have any questions, please feel free to message them. There are some folks that will end up staying in this room. Thanks to everybody for adding in your information here. I think there's still a few of you who haven't chosen one yet. So please, if you can try and do so. So the main room is going to stay as the member support and sustainability group. So if you all want to get started, I'm going to continue to pull out folks and put them into their groups. So I'm just about done with everyone who said that they wanted to go to a particular room. So if you all want to get started, that would be great.
Okay, so we can get started in this room, and this room is the one that is going to keep the conversation on member support and sustainability. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Bueno, Pablo, ¿quieres empezar en inglés o en español? No sé, parece que vamos a tener interpretación simultánea acá, creo.
Okay. Sorry, for some reason I don't have control over my mute. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining the member support and sustainability. I think this conversation is more urgent now than ever before. The past four or 5 months have been really hard for our community. I personally talk to people, co-ops, every day, and the struggle is real for like 90% of the co-ops.
Oh, there's Mo.
Yes,
Mo?
yeah, and Esteban.
I don't know if you want to, what do we do?
I'm waiting for someone to pull up the slides for our closing announcements. Is that you, Mo, or someone else?
That is me pulling it up right now.
All right. So we're gonna, in a moment, we're gonna like slide into some playlist ambiance. We'll be hanging in, those of us who can, and the chat will be live. I don't know if there's like breakout options for that, if people want to continue informally with some of the conversations that were started. But before that happens, we wanted to share a couple things. You're promising me that these slides are about to pop up?
Yes. Lots of.
Great. A couple of things. Just again, as Maddie was sharing, open enrollment is going to roll out on October 1st, just a couple of weeks after our conference. Conference is September 10th and 11th, and there'll be more information. Definitely emails around registration, which is opening, I think, next week, and information at conference.coop. We are having we're midway through our fundraising campaign, which was just extended till US Labor Day. We started with International Labor Day on May 1st. And we're going to US Labor Day, which is September 7th this year. We are trying to get to 25,000. I think we're about halfway there right now. So we're doing pretty good, but we have some ways to go. The purpose of that really is to help subsidize what the revenue that's lost from membership dues, dues reductions, dues trades, and some of the dues hardship that many of our members are facing this year. There continue to be webinars that we're offering in partnership with the School for Democratic Management, which is a program run by the Democracy at Work Institute. And just some upcoming events over there on the bottom left, you'll see that. We shared some of the information about our COVID support resources earlier in the meeting, but you can always go to our website, COVID-19, for more information about that, some of the mutual aid campaigns, including if you're doing things, or you have something that you want to offer, or if you have a request from our broader network, and definitely legislatively as stuff continues to roll along. We'll have updates there, including about tax information and compliance for those of you who are tapping into some of the loan funds. I won't use acronyms about them. And lastly, that our co-op clinic is still available. We have a discounted rate for technical assistance for members, and definitely still expanding our network of peer advisors to support in different kind of program areas. So I think those are all the things that I'm charged with announcing. Stay tuned for the annual member meeting in October, and I think we're ready to transition to music.
1 second, Esteban, before we go on to the music, but also we wanted to tell people that we're going to be also opening nominations for the awards for the year, and we're going to be sharing that link for people to nominate. You know, we always recognize like the Cooperative of the Year, like the Cooperatives of the Year. So we're going to be doing that, and there's definitely so much work to recognize to all the amazing work that you all have been doing. And so we're going to be doing that. And I just want to once again like just thank everybody for doing all the work that you're doing in your households, you know, with your children, with your cooperatives, with your communities, just to hold you know, what has been happening to everybody. And I wanted to just thank to everybody to participate in the call today. It means a lot that we are all together. And I wanted to thank the interpreters for allowing us with their job, with their work, to be able to communicate, to talk to each other. And once again, to all the staff for doing all the work for digital security to ensure that this is, you know, it can be a safe space. So thank you everybody for all the amazing work that you do. And yeah.
And thanks to the board too. Thanks for coming. All right, I'm gonna mute my audio so that we can have the music come through. If you're ready with that, Christo.
I'm actually pulling it up right now. Of course, the internet is not loving it, but music will be on momentarily.
And also, did we shift the moderator permissions so for DMs in the chat, or is that not possible?
I can do that, yes. Can you hear music right now?
Yes.
Great.
Would you take my order now?
Thanks, y'all.
For I need you, waitress, to look up at me. Please turn those pretty eyes. Again, the sun will rise, and you don't see me. All I want to ask you, might you help my situation, my infatuation, just sit for a while. I know it's only 5 a.m. Have you poured yourself a cup of tea? Whenever you try to seat yourself, another balding man with another plea. Please let me take you away, just for the night if I may. We'll have it all just your way. I have no price, but with my heart I'll pay. I can see your moving lips as you serve the drunk boy chips. He won't hold down long. Taste a wretched turn and dip. No queen should cower on the floor now and wipe up that rude swine's chow. I'll give you a hand. Nails leave crescent moon-shaped trails upon the ginger ales. Your misery burns me. Leave the other end of town. Let's go. I'll take you on a night bus. I'm sure it will ignite us again and again and again. I've never been this far before. The winding streets are gritting their stone teeth. Picturesque tranquility, couples holding hands on a native knee. Please let me take you away, just for the night if I may. We'll have it all just your way. I have no crime, but with my heart I'll pay. No more potato puree, no buffet, no souffle, no sorbet. I'll personally scorch that tea tray. I have no words, but I'll ask you someday.
History has taught me some strange arithmetic. Using swords, prison bars, and pistol grips. English is the art of bombing towns, while assuring that you really only bless the ground. Science is the honorable, beautiful study where you contort the molecules and then you make that money. In mathematics, dead children don't get at it, but they count the cost of bullets coming out the automatic, and I'm teaching. Hands up, please don't make me a big teacher. Stand up, you tell us how to flip this system. Teach, hands up, please don't make me a victim. Teach, stand up, tell us how to flip this system. Stop. Economics is a symphony of hunger and theft. Mortar shells often echo out the cashmere checks. In geography classes, borders, mountains, and rivers, but they will never show the line between the takers and givers. Algebra is that unique occasion in which a school considers there should be a balanced equation. And then statistics is the tool of the simplicity to everybody's with it, and you're the only critic, and I'm the teacher. My hands up, please don't make me a victim. Teacher, stand up, tell us how to flip this system. Teacher, my hands up, please don't make me a victim. Teacher, stand up, tell us how to flip this system. Move. Social studies is legalized to tackle, which turns into a sermon on simplicity of shackles. Physics is the school you on the science course, except for how to get the fuck out the ghetto, of course. Home ec can teach you how to make a few sauces and accept low pay from your Walmart bosses. If your school won't teach you how to fight for what's needed, they're teaching you to go through life and get treated. And I'm teacher, my hands up, please don't make me a victim. Teacher, stand up, please tell us how to flip this system. Teacher, my hands up, please don't make me a victim. Teacher, stand up, you need to tell us how to flip this system wrong.
I'm begging you, please do the only thing that's redeeming. tonight. And if now, do we ride?